the Most High Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, double honest to the elders and apostles of GMS who rule well, shalom to the elect. And I was just watching the broadcast of today, and it talks about Trump suing FB and Twitter, and I want to get into that first and foremost. But before that, I just wanted to show a little snippet, and I know this is not to brother's taste, but you gotta see how wicked this place is.
Next.
Look at
Welcome back, everybody.
Look, you see, and I can't even. And they just had a whole bunch of pictures, yeah, and it was just mostly men kissing, like at the beginning. The first couple of pictures were most, and I was thinking, they've actually normalized it. This place is just completely perverse, and just this place just disgusts me, man. You know, you have Edomites talking about, you know, if you're rude to an Edomite, they talk about karma and stuff like that, and you're looking at, you're talking karma. What about the karma of what your people have done? These people are so void of judgment and what's right. I can't even take them serious. I don't even like talking to them no more, man. But yeah, let's listen to ex-President Trump, because it's funny. They always say ex-President Trump and President Trump and all of this stuff. When it was Obama, they weren't talking about, you know, ex-President Obama. You know what I mean? They just say Barack Obama. But all of a sudden, or maybe I'm wrong, but it's just something that, you know, struck me as strange. They keep putting the president, you know, as his moniker when he's no longer president.
These cavities due to an increase in saliva flow.
Yeah, no.
Flow, I can't. All right, thanks, Yasmin. Now, former President Trump is taking his social media.
See, this man will always try to show why certain things are okay, you know. What the hell has kissing got to do with it? First off, like, a man should be with a woman for life. Like, the way these people talk about kissing and certain things, they just love degeneracy. They just love everybody being with everybody, and it's like even the images that they're showing, you know what I mean? They never talk about husband and wife. It's just, oh, when you're in a relationship with some. I'm just friggin' sick and tired of this place, man.
Media bans to court. He filed a class action lawsuit targeting Facebook, Google, and Twitter, as well as their CEOs. The former president claims the companies violated his First Amendment rights by suspending his accounts after the deadly Capitol riot. Here he is at his golf club at Bedminster, New Jersey yesterday.
We're demanding an end to the shadow banning, a stop to the silencing, and a stop to the blacklisting, banishing, and canceling that you know so well. Our case will prove this censorship is unlawful, it's unconstitutional, and it's completely un-American.
Representatives for Google, Twitter, and Facebook declined to comment on the lawsuit to NBC News. Just as the news conference wrapped up, Trump's political entities began sending out fundraising messages touting the lawsuit. And if we are talking about a lawsuit, then we have got to talk to our NBC News legal analyst, Danny Ceballos. Danny, good morning. So the former president frames this as a First Amendment case, but it's obviously important to point out he's suing private companies. You wrote this for NBC Think. Trump and the other plaintiffs may be right that their speech is being suppressed by these companies. It's just that no legal remedy is available to them. Tell us what you mean by that. Tell us more about this lawsuit. And so, I mean, you know, does it hold any water if you wrote that?
We do a big disservice to our students at some point in our education, because for some reason people think whenever their First Amendment rights or their free speech rights are suppressed by anyone, it's a First Amendment violation. And the reality is it's not. It's only if a state actor, the government, is suppressing your speech that the First Amendment is ever even implicated. Private companies simply are not bound by the strictures of the First Amendment. They do not need to guarantee us free speech as a general rule.
No, it's funny that he says the government is an actor, because yeah, he's an actor. The government pretends to care about your rights, but they don't give two damns about your rights, because everything that they claim to be under the care of government is really privatized. And if you look into privatization can mean different things, including moving something from the public sector into the private sector. It is also sometimes used as a synonym for deregulation when a heavily regulated private company or industry becomes less regulated. privatization, the transfer of a business, industry, or service from public to private ownership and control. Now, this is how they're gonna get everybody, because there's the same thing they're gonna do with the VAC. They're gonna say, well, the government isn't violating your rights because at the end of the day you work for a private company and they can make their own laws. They've literally moved everything from the public domain to the private domain, and these people can essentially make up their own. They can make up their own laws in the same way. When you go to the shop, they have a legal right to refuse you service. Is a private, is a privately owned business. You can't be turned away from a public, owned entity or business. But how many businesses are actually owned by the public? If you actually look into a lot of things, that they're owned privately. The banks are owned privately. Even the Bank of England is a private organization. Same with the Federal Reserve. It's not a public entity, it's a private entity. All of this stuff, basically, what's the reason for this? So then when they turn around, they say you have to take this so that you can work or you can be around. It's not actually going against your so-called First Amendment rights, or in the UK they have the Bill of Rights. It's actually not violating your free rights because everything has been privatized. And if you look into they have socialism, communism, and fascism. They're all the friggin' same. Socialism is a political and economic theory of social organization which advocates that the means of production, distribution, and exchange should be owned or regulated by the community as a whole. In Marxist theory, a transitional social state between overthrow of capitalism and the realization of communism. It's all the same. It's just semantics. They're just playing word games. Communism, a theory or system of social organization in which all property is owned by the community. It's the same as socialism, and each person contributes and receives according to their ability and needs. Is that not basically the same as socialism? If you look at fascism, is a form of far right, which is not the Democrat, the Republicans, is a far right authoritarian ultra nationalism characterized by dictatorial power, forcible suppression of opposition, and strong regimentation of society and of the economy, which came to prominence in early 20th century Europe. Now, I don't know about you, but I do not see the difference between that and capitalism. It's the same. It's the far right, because the far right is really in control. They pretend that is democratic, but they use the left to basically advance the right. They claim it's liberalism, but you have no choice. You can refuse to take the VAC, but if you refuse, you can't work, which is fascism, which is communism, which is social. It's all the same crap, which is capitalism, because it's all about money at the end of the day. These people act like this stuff is different, and it's the same shit. Pardon my French. And crypto-fascism is a secret support for or admiration of fascism. So when you pretend you're for socialism or whatever, but really you're for fascism, the term is used to imply that an individual or group keeps the support or admiration hidden to avoid political persecution or political suicide. The common usage is crypto-fascist, one who practices the support. This place is absolutely disgusting, man. This place pisses me off. This is Micah Tutu, and they covet fields and take them by violence and houses and take them away, so they oppress a man and this house, even a man and his heritage. Now, America don't belong to no Americans, but these people actually see it as their home, and they oppress the American Indians, the North American Indians. They oppress Judah. They oppress all the original people that were living there, and even their people that they claim to care for. They're even oppressing them, because now you don't even have free speech. Because you can talk about YouTube, you should be able to have free speech on YouTube, but YouTube is a private company. They can make whatever laws they want. Your First Amendment right doesn't apply to it. Your freedom of speech does not apply to it. Even in the UK, they have the Bill of Rights. It doesn't apply to these private entities. They can make whatever law they want. They can refuse you service, whatever they do. So anything that they do is technically not illegal. You actually agree to to basically follow their laws whenever you sign up to them or you agree to use their service, which is why, you know, when you read the terms and conditions, it basically, you're just giving your rights all over to them. As soon as you upload a video, it technically doesn't belong to you anymore. It belongs to them because you're hosting your video on their servers. They're giving you a channel to be able to put your video out there. So in a sense, they're saying we now own this, and you agree to our terms by uploading a video to it. It's fascism, it's communism, it's capitalism, because it's all about, it's all the same thing, man. But these people love to pretend, they love to compartmentalize this stuff as if it's all different from each other. Hosea 12:7. He's a merchant, the balances of the sea are in his hand, he loveth to oppress. And this is what this man does. He loves to oppress everybody and everything he comes into contact with, pretending he wants to help you, but he really wants to undermine you and stab you in your back. You know, he gives you these platforms so that you can speak to each other, but then he stops you from being able to say something that goes against, you know, his public ordained ordinances, or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? You go against what they say and they'll take your account away from you. But these times you're talking about how you're liberal and people are allowed to have free speech. You're allowed to have free speech so long as you say everything in accordance, you know, and in line to what they're saying. So you don't have no free speech, really and truly. You do in a sense, or you have more free speech than you would do in China. You have more than they do, but essentially you really don't. You know what I mean? It's like it's like you're on a speed limit. You know, you're somewhere the speed limit's 20 miles an hour, and you're somewhere else where the speed limit is 30 miles an hour or 40 miles an hour. There's still a speed limit. You just have more leeway to speed. You have more leeway to talk, but you still essentially do not have you essentially don't have freedom of speech. You know, and it's not even like it's necessarily a bad thing, because, you know, in the kingdom of heaven you're not going to be able to speak against the Lord. But this guy does it on the left. He does it in unrighteousness, because at the end of the day there's always supposed to be order. You're supposed to have order there. It just so happens that, you know, order's supposed to be right. You're not supposed to, I shouldn't be allowed to go and kill somebody, you know, but I should be allowed to kill somebody if they murder somebody in my family, if they rape my child. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? These people, they'll go and murder you and take your oil. They don't have a lawful right to murder you. They don't have a lawful right to do the stuff that they do. But yet this place is just absolutely wicked, man. Jeremiah 7:6. If ye oppress not the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, shed not innocent blood in this place, neither walk after other gods to your hurt. So even in Egypt, you know, when the Israelites came out of Egypt, the Lord even said you're not supposed to oppress strangers because you were a stranger in Egypt. So the laws was given to the Israelites, that the laws were given to the Hebrews. These people, they have the quote unquote Bible, but it's not quote unquote. They have the Bible, but they don't follow it. You know what I mean? They pretend that they're for order, but really and truly they're for anarchy. They're for order on the left. They're not for true order. Malachi 3:5. And I will come near to you to judgment, and I will be a swift witness against the sorcerers, and against the adulterers, and against false swearers, and against those that oppress the hireling in his wages, the widow and the fatherless, and that turn aside a stranger from his right, and fear not me, saith the Lord of hosts. So, you know, these people don't even allow you to say what's right. You know, it's one thing to stop people from saying what's wrong. You know, if I want to go around and say I want to kill, I want to rape, I want to do this, that'll be one thing. But you're stopping people from speaking what's right. You know, because you have all these elders on YouTube who are having their accounts deleted because they're speaking what's right. They're speaking out of the scriptures and they're stopping them. What's more right than the scriptures? So it just shows you that this man is not for what's right. He's against every righteous judgment, because he's a base man. He's a beast. Exodus 23:9. Also, thou shalt not oppress a stranger, for ye know the heart of a stranger, seeing you were strangers in the land of Egypt. And this man, he'd been a stranger in all the whole earth. You know what I mean? But you come to his place and he'll still oppress you, because he don't give two fucks. This man don't care about none, because he's a dog. He doesn't understand judgment. He doesn't understand what's right and what's wrong. They just do whatever they like. You know, you turn on the TV, you're seeing two men kissing or two women kissing, and they're acting like they've normalized it. They've essentially normalized it. And I'm looking at this stuff like this isn't normal. All praises to the Most High. How about Shem Yahushai? Double honors to the elders and apostles of James who were well. Shalom to the elect.